Asive Dlanjwa is the spokesperson for the SA Union of Students. Asive, good afternoon to you. So we have an assurance there from NSFAS that they're working on it. The problem is being resolved. Do you have faith that it will be resolved? Are your members getting their payments?
Good afternoon to you, Stephen, also to your viewers and your listeners. We will only have faith in those commitments when all students have received their allowances. We have it on good record that there are still thousands of students who would not yet have received their allowances. We have been informed by NSFAS and some of the institutions that they are dealing with the matter, but as I have said, that we are of the view, at least as far as the students that we are communicating with, some of the students still claim to not have received their allowances. So once we have confidence and full confirmation that all students indeed have received their allowances, I suppose it is then that we will have any faith in the fact that the system or the process that is being followed has indeed worked.
NSFAS says that it didn't make these payments because there were paperwork problems. It didn't want to make the mistake of paying money to the wrong people. How do you think it's treated students here?
We appreciate that explanation, to be quite honest with you, Stephen. The issue here is that there is unfortunately a glitch after a glitch. If it's not a problem of the fact that the students have not been onboarded because NSFAS has not received registration data, it's an issue of the fact that the students have not been KYC to be able to receive their monies. If it's not an issue of the fact that the students have not been KYC, now we are told of another process which is called a data adjustment process. So the reality is that unfortunately, from month to month, there has been many glitches, and at the end, the total and the conclusion of all of these issues is that, of what seems to be an inefficient system, if I may say, is that students end up not getting their allowances. It is very much unfortunate now that these students have started their examinations as of last week across the country, and that something of this nature would happen. So it is clear that there is no coherence between the NSFAS and institutions of higher learning. What is regrettable is that these are all public institutions, all under the tutelage of the department, and it would appear that the Department of Higher Education is failing to coordinate these two bodies to ensure that at the end of the day, students are able to receive their allowances on time.
There's so many things that have happened around NSFAS at the moment, Asive, as you know better than I, as your members know and have felt over the last few months. NSFAS says, we've had the problems with the CEO. He's been, I think, is in the process of being removed. We've been told that the contracts with two of the companies that were making the direct payments are being cancelled, although I myself am not entirely sure if they actually have been. Do you think NSFAS is up to the job, or the people, let me put it another way, do you think the people running NSFAS are up to the job at the moment?
The one thing that is clear is that there is a crisis to an extent, Stephen, as you rightfully say, and it is unfortunate that it seemingly is also affecting not only the operations of NSFAS, but also at the level of the leadership, the executive leadership of NSFAS. There seems to be a crisis. You know it, I know it. And Stephen, you will remember, we have said this throughout last year, and we are still saying it now. We do not believe that the problems at NSFAS are inherently NSFAS problems. They are some of them political problems, and there is lack of political leadership. Why we are saying this, as we have said, is that when you look at the issues that are happening at NSFAS, all the time, the department is always a step behind and having to play catch up. There is absolutely no reason why some of the things that are happening at NSFAS, we would have told the minister a long time ago to intervene at the scheme and ensure that these things are dealt with. You are correct. There is a prevalent crisis status at NSFAS. And unfortunately, you can chop and change CEOs. The term of this board will also lapse at one point. Another board will come in. These problems will persist. By the way, you will remember that before the current leadership of NSFAS was always in a crisis, maybe a worse state then than it is now. But the bottom line is that it has limped from crisis to crisis. It tells us that something needs to be done over and above at NSFAS. So there are some staff, for instance, to tell you right now also, there are some staff at NSFAS who are completely useless. who have been absolutely a frustration to students. They have not, as I'm speaking with you right now, we still have thousands of appeals of students that have not been attended to since the beginning of the year, and the year is about to come to an end because of staff issues at NSFAS. So the point that I'm making is that we believe that the issues at NSFAS are bigger than NSFAS because they've also predated this leadership. We think the minister must do something about NSFAS, and failure to do so, we fear that that scheme might be undermined moving forward.
Asive Dlanjwa, thank you.